Welcome back. You're watching the Property Show. For all of our viewers who have still not been able to get their queries answered, all that you need to do is just pick up the phone, call us if you have a property query. You can also reach out to us on SMS. You can SMS your query on 56088 or write in your query to us at property@ndtv.com. Coming up on the show, we'll be focusing on the markets of Noida, Indore and Mumbai. Let's focus on a bit of an interesting development. The Reserve Bank of India cut its key repo rate by 0.25% this month, the third time since January this year. But with banks deciding to not transfer the benefit to end consumer, the real estate sector has little to rejoice. As buyer sentiments may not improve, Arjun Chaudhary has more.
The Reserve Bank of India cut its benchmark lending rate by 0.25% earlier this month, the third time since January 2013. However, this may not give any respite to the common man, already reeling under the burden of high equated monthly installments. Soon after the policy announcement, bankers virtually ruled out the possibility of lending rates coming down, denting the hopes of several home buyers.
We are not thinking to reduce at this moment. But if really the inflation eases and as well as that low cost deposits are coming to the bank, maybe that will be able to reduce the cost of deposits. So it is a great challenge that one side we cannot really pass on at this moment until this cost of deposits comes down. At the same time, credit growth also is not really picking up.
Despite the RBI reducing its key lending rate for the fourth time since April last year, bankers have not kept pace with their ability to lower their interest rates. In the last 1 year, RBI has eased repo rate 4 times, reducing it by a total of 125 basis points. In contrast, the country's largest public sector bank SBI passed on the benefit by a 30 basis point cut, while private sector giant HDFC transferred it by a 10 basis point cut. Currently, for home loans above Rs 30 lakhs, SBI's lending rate stands at 10.10%. Private lenders like HDFC is in the range of 10.4 to 10.9%, while ICICI Bank charges anywhere between 10.5 to 11%. Experts believe there is a need for further reduction in key policy rates, which may propel banks to pass on the benefit to the end customer.
In this entire calendar year of 2013, if there is a 150 BPS or to 200 BPS, 150 to 200 basis points reduction in policy rate, we are definitely, going to see some tractions in the real estate market because banks will then pass on these benefits.
The RBI though has indicated that there is minimal scope for further rate cuts. Developers consider this as an overcautious move.
RBI from last 2-3 policies have shown their inclinations towards reduction in the interest rates. So this will follow definitely, but RBI is taking a cautious view. I believe government also have to act accordingly.
While the third round of reduction in repo rates this year seems to be a positive move for home buyers, banks are yet to pass on the benefit to the end customer. The industry though has pinned its hopes on more such moves which may help boost sales. In Mumbai, Arjun Chaudhary for NDTV Profit.
We'll elaborate more on that particular matter on our expert segment. We'll be focusing on the interest rate trajectory as well as the property market and how they are correlated to each other. All right, let's welcome in our experts. We have Harsh Rungta, CEO at apnapaisa.com. We also have with us Amit Kukreja, CFP and founder, Well-Being Advisor. Gentlemen, great having you with us on the Property Show. Let me start off first by discussing perhaps the most pertinent of issues right now, and that's the real estate sector and its correlation to the interest rate environment. This is perhaps one of the longest running debates, but more importantly, what's important to note is the fact that banks don't seem to be passing on the real benefit of interest rate cuts to end consumers. You take a look at what the RBI has done since last year. The RBI has slashed repo rate by 125 basis points. Banks, on the other hand, have not been passing on any kind of benefit. You look at what is the current interest rate regime, you actually start to wonder, is there any benefit at all for the end consumers? Harsh, let me get your views on the same. You look at the recent divergence. The RBI has slashed repo rate aggressively as much as 125 basis points, but still for most banks, including PSU banks in this case, rates don't seem to be coming down.
Oh, absolutely, Ashutosh. I mean, just expand that analysis a little bit. Right from the time after the financial crisis of late 2008 and 9, from 2010 when RBI started restrictive credit policy, it started increasing rates. they increased it by about 375 basis points or 3.75%. And we did a quick analysis of two large public sector banks, SBI Corporation Bank, large private sector bank, ICICI, and over that period the base rates increased by as much as about 2.5% to 2.9%, which means that when the rates were being hiked by RBI, the base rates were being hiked almost proportionately. Since I think the last 15 months, we have seen, or 16-17 months, we have seen rates being dropped cumulatively about 1% or 1.25%, but the drop in base rates has just been 0.25 or 0.3%. So I think very clearly when RBI hikes rates, banks are quick to hike their base rates, but when RBI drops rates, there is a stickiness. It does not drop proportionately at all. So clearly there is an issue. I mean, there is clear data to show that there is an issue. An interesting point, Ashutosh, is the fact that whilst the base rates haven't dropped, if you look at over this period, for new consumers the rate has been dropping. So for the same very banks, for new consumers the rates would have dropped as much as 1.5 to 2%. The differential between somebody who borrowed in July 2010, what he is paying today, versus a customer who borrows today, same customer, same kind of profile, the difference in the three banks that we have analyzed, and this will be true of public sector banks that we have analyzed, SBI Corporation Bank, a private sector bank like ICICI or any other bank for that matter, the difference could be as high as 2%. So clearly, whilst the drop in rates does not translate to a drop in base rates, when base rates drop every consumer gets the benefit, but it does reduce the rates for new consumers. So clearly there are two issues. One is transmission, that what RBI drops rates doesn't get actually converted into lower base rates, and second clearly is the fact that new customers do get the benefit, but old customers continue paying high rates.
Okay, but the pertinent question that comes up is the fact that is consumer purchase getting affected because of this? Are consumers real genuine buyers? I'm not talking about speculators here. Are real genuine buyers going to defer their purchase? Would they actually wait for, let's say, an SBI or for an ICICI or some of the other aggressive lenders to actually reduce this anomaly before they start to aggressively come back? Or do you think whatever be the case, genuine buyers will always keep coming back, and of course demand for home loans would more or less remain intact?
So I mean, Ashutosh, clearly demand for home loans is dependent on two things. The bigger factor is property itself. I mean, a loan is a means to an end. So unless you want to buy a home, you are obviously not going to take a loan. And a big component of whether you want to buy a property or not is property prices. Clearly, the interest rate on loan decides affordability. And I think over the last 2-3 years, we have seen rates both of property as well as interest go up, which has reduced affordability dramatically. And now we have seen slight softening in interest rates. We have not seen any softening in property prices, and therefore clearly there has been a flagging of growth. But home purchases are a segment that has an inherently slightly inelastic demand to some extent. There will be a core demand that will always be there. What I think high property prices and high interest rates do is that the top 20-30% of people who are not sure, now they defer their purchases till property prices become reasonable, either by dropping or sheerly not increasing as inflation increases. And obviously when interest rates drop, affordability improves. So I think both these factors are important to make sure growth happens, but there is an inherent demand of homes that will be there irrespective of property prices or home loan interest rates.
Okay, well, let's also focus on the important aspect of service tax. Now, for all our investors and for all our viewers who have not been able to catch up on this issue, service tax at the rate of 12% will now be applicable on 25% of the total value of the residential unit, effectively 3% on properties that meet these conditions. If a housing unit is more than 2,000 square feet carpet area or costs over 1 crore, then tax will be levied on 30% of the total value, according to a recent CBEC notification, clearly making prices slightly more unaffordable as far as the this particular segment is concerned. Talking about the luxury segment, Amit Kukreja, what's your take on this? How adverse is this notification which is coming from the CBEC?
See, we have to understand two important qualifying criteria before we consider the service tax calculation, especially the increase in the service tax calculation. One is the carpet area, which has been notified that anything less than 2,000 square feet and the value of the total value of the unit less than 1 crore qualifies for 25% abatement, which translates to 3% service tax. Anything which is more than 2,000 square feet or more than 1 crore rupees in the valuation, it's a either condition. If it meets either of them, then the service tax will be at 3.6%, which is coming out because the abatement goes down to 70%. So for the investor driven micro markets, it will not impact the transaction there, because investors are going to offload these units 2-3 years down the line and they'll earn premium on that. But for the end user market, it depends. If the budget is around 1 crore, I'm sure people are going to wait and watch and wait for the valuations to come down so that they can avoid this service tax increment of 0.6%. If it's about carpet area only and not about price, then obviously there is going to be issue about carpet area, because carpet area has never been documented in the real estate transactions with the builder. The builder has always been enforcing super area in all the documentation. So there's going to be pushback from the buyers and there's going to be chase from the buyers to the builders. Why has this been calculated at 2,000 or more square feet area? So it's going to be, tricky, and it completely depends what micro market you're focused on. For investor micro market, it's not going to impact much, but for the end user micro market, it depends whether it's a 2,000 square feet property or it's a 1 crore or more or lesser valuation of the property.
But do you think this is open to manipulation? I mean, okay, let's not keep it to 2,000 square feet, let's keep it to 1,998 square feet carpet area. As you mentioned, the definition of carpet area is not really clear as of now, and then don't price it at 1 crore, price it at 98 crores. So do you think 98 lakhs, do you think this kind of a norm or this kind of notification is very, very open to manipulation?
It is. It certainly is. So there are two sides of it. One, on the construction community side, which is the builder community side, they may try to circumvent the issue, but we have to remember the fact that the price includes basic, PLC, EDC, IDC, power backup installation and firefighting equipment installation. The only exclusion is the car parking. Okay, so it is subject to interpretation and people might misinterpret it differently. But on the buyer side, we may have a situation where the first buyer has bought an under construction property for 90 lakhs and the second buyer is buying it for 1 crore 5 lakhs, which is above 1 crore. He still will not have to pay 3.6%. He will still pay 3.0% because original allotment is at the at the initial price. So many buyers may choose to pick up a property from the second hand market or secondary market as opposed to buying a new unit from the builder which has a higher price component, which might be at 1 crore or more. So yes, it's quite possible that people will try to circumvent issue on both sides.
Okay, all right, fair enough, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on this insightful discussion, both on the interest rate side as well as on the service tax element, which perhaps may make life a little difficult for genuine buyers as far as most micro markets are concerned. Thank you so much, as always, for joining. Prateek Chatterjee is joining us right now. Prateek, hi, welcome to the Property Show.